While I was on vacation, my parent corporation, Paramount, paid Donald Trump a $16 million settlement over his 60 Minutes lawsuit. Now, I believe this kind of complicated financial settlement with a sitting government official has a technical name in legal circles. It's big fat bribe.
The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
Hey, bartender, give me another drink. You already had your 3-drink limit, Mr. Fallon. Don't argue with me, motherfucker. How much I pay you? I pay your wife, too. I know the secrets. I know what's going on. Oh, shit. Is that Ed McMahon over there? I think I see Ed McMahon. Hey, it's The Tonight Show, starring Maestro Drake. Guess? We don't got any guests. You know this channel. You know how things work. We don't even have proper Chiron and proper CGI graphic. And now, here's me. Yeah. How many people are in the audience? Oh, that's right. This is the people that came in later on. The 3 people in my comments section. Some of the trolls. Trolls get like a 2 or 3 comment limit before I start deleting their comments from existence. Yeah, never give a troll the star power. You have to remember whose channel this is. Oh wow, what a great. I don't really use this to describe myself very much. Look at that curtain. Wow, feels like we're right at home. All right, let's get to the grist of it. Why am I doing this video? So this is the October 23rd, I think, is the 100th birthday of Mr. Johnny Carson. Now, Johnny Carson, there were other talk show hosts before, but he was the grand poobah of late night talk show hosts. You had Jack Paar, you had Steve Allen, you had some other, I think it was a black dude too, who was on the host of the Tonight Show. This was all back in the 50s, okay? And in 1962, Johnny Carson took over, and he would take over for almost 30 years. He did like anniversary shows and such. And here's Carson's cellar a little bit. Very young, very handsome dude. He started out, he was born in the 1920s, right? So he was in World War II. He was in the Navy. I forget which ship it was. Not the Enterprise. It was a USS something, Philadelphia. And then he got into he was better at doing magic tricks than being in the service. So at some point he got into doing radio talk, doing improv, his own variety shows. And somehow he got the winning lottery ticket because he got to do his own show on CBS. Then he had the Johnny Carson show, and eventually working with Jack Benny. Anybody knows who that is. And eventually he got the Tonight Show. And he was the biggest of all of them, okay? Had the longest amount of years. Just one continuous route, 30 years. Hasn't been bested by anybody else. Has not. As far as, Letterman had if you total the years, yeah, he had more years, but he had late night, then he had the Late Show. And did it better than Colbert. So, because Johnny turns 100, even though he's not alive, he's in spirit, I made it a point to watch all these old shows throughout the last few months, along with Paul Newman's 100th birthday. I see that Robert Redford has now joined Butch Cassidy, so may they all live together forever. But yeah, I mean, all those cigarettes, they had to be on that boat all the time. But Johnny Carson was there in spirit. Even when he was alive, he had done a bit of opening up entertainment centers, skate parks. There was a CarMax skate park somewhere in this country. I don't know where it is. So I'm reflecting upon this and what's been going on in the last couple of days. And Johnny is not Jimmy Kimmel. He's not Stephen Colbert. He is not even close. And I believe, you know, would he have attacked Trump? Probably. He would have attacked all sides, I think. But let's take another look at this. So I admittedly I never watched Johnny Carson. I was too little. By the time I was 14, Johnny Carson had retired and Jay Leno took over. So I started to watch Jay Leno more because that was the only way I could do it. I mean, you know, when you're a kid, you have a curfew. You're supposed to go to bed early, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock when you're in grade school. That's how it was, okay? But you had to get up early. So it was tough. So I didn't get to see much of it. The first time I knew about Johnny Carson was like in cartoon parodies, like the Flintstones, or Alf, when Alf did like a primetime version of it with Ed McMahon, and you had Fred De Cordova, the producer. And I just learned that revelation that Fred De Cordova was like telling Mr. Carson, we got to go to commercial, sir, even when he was talking about his son's death, because his son died horribly in a car accident. But here's something that Joe said that was interesting.
Today, I'm like, why are they still a thing? When I see a late night show, no disrespect to anybody who hosts a late night show, but to me, it's like they took a boat and tried to turn it into a plane. They're like, hey, it's 2018, but let's pretend it's not.
Yeah.
You know, we'll be right back with a commercial. Hey, we're gonna have commercials. We're gonna shove commercials in the thing. But today, everybody watches HBO and Netflix. Like, what am I doing here? Sitting through a fucking commercial.
I get.
Have too many other venues.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of options.
Yeah.
A lot of options, yeah.
And like watching things on the internet is so much more satisfying. It's like watching a comic on a podcast. You're gonna get a chance to see who the fuck they really are.
Yeah.
Instead of some weird set in front of some audience that got shipped in from Burbank and they got applause signs and everything. It's very surreal when you go to a live taping and you watch that.
I've been to one for Conan.
And I'll sit.
So like with Joe, there's different flavors of ice cream, just like different podcasts. With Joe Rogan, comedian, you get a more sort of a gold standard, sort of high maintenance kind of show. And here with Joey Diaz, it's more like Batman, more like just talking with Lee Syatt or talking with his friends, his inner circle. Where Joe Rogan talks to big celebrities, big names. Joey Diaz just cares more about Joey Diaz. He's sort of the underground, gritty, sort of where Joe Rogan is Superman. He's Batman. He's just the opposite. He's just more down to earth. Lex Friedman, if you want intellectual stuff. I mean, he could talk to Neil deGrasse Tyson. He could talk to all kinds of people. This was about dinosaurs. Whitney Cummings, if you want some trash talk, girl talk, all kinds of nonsense. There's different flavors. I'm sad she got rid of her robot. Whitney and the robot. Only people older than 45 know what I'm talking about. Oh, she looks good with glasses on. We're seeing the end. We're seeing the end of late night talk shows. The world as we know it. I didn't grow up on Carson, but a little bit. But I grew up on Leno and Letterman, and then Conan O'Brien, and a bit of Craig Ferguson. I remember Craig Ferguson when Johnny Carson had passed away, and it's not anywhere on YouTube. He would talk about how the world was big when he was an immigrant. And when Johnny Carson was on, he would realize how small the world really was and how a lot of people had a lot of things in common. Like the world got a little smaller because of Johnny Carson in it. But people have come and gone. I heard James Corden was a piece of shit. Ellen was mean. That's a daytime talk show, but there you go. So what can easily replace Kimmel? I mean, we know there's one or two examples. Game shows like Classic Concentration and other Sale of the Century. That could replace it. Sports recap shows. Remember when Fred Rogan had a sports recap show on a Sunday night? Infomercials. Yeah, no problem with showing these. The joke is it going to work for you or is it not? That's the joke. There's Greg Gutfeld. Kind of reminds me of Garfield. I mean, yes, he's funny. Well, he doesn't shit on Trump. He's the opposite Trump, right? He'll do right-wing jokes against the Democrats, but I didn't find myself laughing at this much. I really didn't. I didn't find myself laughing at Colbert or Kimmel. Definitely didn't laugh at this. But, if you want to have a laugh at Biden's expense, there you go. I mean, that's okay. But it's just, this is not my thing to go to. Let's talk about the elephant. Actually, he was sort of an elephant, but he gained the weight, lost the weight. Jimmy Kimmel, I remember from Win Ben Stein's money when I had DirecTV in my house years ago, way back in 2002. Okay? So Ben Stein's the guy that goes, Bueller, Bueller, Bueller. He was in the Wonder Years, right? Okay, Kevin, can you tell us what 2 + 2 is, right? He's that character actor, right? You see him in real life. Oh, hello, my dear. Oh, it's so good to see you. He's different in real life, right? But Jimmy Kimmel was the sidekick for this show. And then there was the Man Show. I've met Adam Carolla only once, briefly. Not much was said. He kind of, when I think of my English teacher, Mr. Buttman, from a community college, he kind of sounded like this. And that was back in 1999. And he was sort of an old man, Mr. Buttman. But when I think of Adam Carolla, I said, I bet you Adam Carolla will turn to my old English teacher. And he did. And that, 1999 was like 26 years ago. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, there's Jimmy Kimmel getting fat. I remember when he first had his show, when he first got Jimmy Kimmel Live. I remember Frank Potenza, Uncle Frank, the security guard, the original security guard, and Sal Iacano. I can't remember pronounce his last name. Iacano? I don't remember. You had Cousin Sal, you had Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank died many years ago, and Cousin Sal had moved on. And I think you had Aunt Bessie or Aunt Trudy. I don't remember. There was an aunt there too. And when Jimmy Kimmel was like 30 pounds overweight, he had sort of the living room set or the office set from the first season. I remember he made fun of Nell Carter's death a little bit. Oh, what a different time. Jimmy was, everybody talks about the blackface thing he did. Yeah, we all know this stuff. But I remember that when this show was watchable, these people were on board. Guillermo's still there, of course. The security guard, I'm still here. That's the horn player, right? The trumpet player. This dude who right here, right behind Uncle Frank. Is he still there? Well, I guess not anymore. But was he there that last week? So I think what some people were saying was that Jimmy Kimmel had made jokes about, or inaccurate tellings about Charlie Kirk, and he was supposed to do a rebuttal on Tuesday or Wednesday. No, it was Tuesday, and then Wednesday he got fired. So here I am Thursday night saying all this stuff. Okay, trying to keep track of the days. Now, we remember when Roseanne got fired for her tweets. The one actor from the CW, okay, the one who played Elastic Man, okay, or Elongated Man, Ralph Dibny, the actor who played Ralph Dibny, they had some guy play the character even though he had a tape over his head, and it was weird. It was a way to put Elongated Man in the show, even though the actor got fired. For what? These motherfuckers did the original Twitter, Vijaya and the original people on Twitter. They went, and before Elon Musk, these motherfuckers looked up his old tweets and tried to frame him with the old tweets. And it's like, what pieces of shit? Now, the tweets were toxic. They weren't for public consumption, obviously, but he put them up there anyway. But that was years ago. Are you fucking serious? Like, that actor has never come back. I mean, you can come back. You can come back. But it's like, now it's like, I hope he does. I really hope he does. I mean, the one actress who played, Felicity from, Arrow? She did Queen of the Ring. She did a biopic. So I believe he should come back. Anyway. But Roseanne Barr got fired, Gina Carano got fired, and Gina Carano sued to get compensation. And some people say, well, this is wrong, what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. I'm like, well, as Clownfish TV put it, they pushed back. It was a matter of, we listened to the leftist bullshit for years. We listened to the evening news, the nightly news, the world news tonight, CNN. We listened to them be right for the last, even go back to 2016. People trashed Trump back then. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel trashed Trump back in 2016 to 2020. Got away with it. Okay? And got away with it more and more with Biden there, half awake, and Kamala Harris, and then did it again. So you could say, well, he's just telling jokes. But a good Trump lawyer could say, well, wait a minute, you're telling, if you are up on stage and you're doing a monologue, does the monologue include facts and fiction? Does the monologue include always facts? And where are the facts? Because you have to go after the writers as well who wrote the jokes, right? If Jimmy Kimmel didn't write his own jokes, somebody else wrote the jokes, then I remember like David Letterman had his own team. That's how the strike, even though there was a writer's strike in 2008, then you had that whole thing. How would an attorney argue this? So I can't wait to see the outcome of this. But yeah, Colbert's on his way out next year. Kimmel, there's just a lot of things going wrong. Bob Iger's kind of an idiot anyway. What is the future? I'll tell you what. These are my particular favorites. There are podcasts you can watch. There are comedians you can watch. Now, this is the legend of Vinny's cousin. This is Vine Sauce. Vinny Vine Sauce. He's an odd duck.
Very weird. First of all, he has a dick, and he's very
Now, what he does is he plays video games. He focuses on video games for 4 hours, okay? 4 hours, like Monday through Thursday, and then Sunday. Usually 5 days a week, maybe more. But he'll talk stories, he'll talk shit, he'll shoot the shit. This man will tell stories, and he'll do bits, like comedy bits, like little, like shock jocks would do, okay? Whether it's the frogs, and that sort of trumpet, da 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 da, or the baby rapper that killed his stream when he was doing Metal Gear Solid Delta. So he's talking about the story about how his cousin wanted to get into a nightclub. But this is the kind of stuff, you can watch this for hours instead of Kimmel, instead of Fallon. And with Fallon's on his way out. But the NBC will keep The Tonight Show because the Tonight Show is, because of Carson, The Tonight Show is like this mainstay thing that you hold on to, right? So, of course, NBC is not going to let go of The Tonight Show name. Who should take over? Maybe I should take over. So, Joel. This is Fark Skeletor Joel. And Fark Skeletor Joel, he tells the story about when he took his dad to go to a Chinese steak dinner. So, yeah, this is where now he's playing some sort of a Sims game. This is where you watch people play these games like The Legend of Zelda or Sims, and they're just talking shit for hours. They just talk about it. Some people will ask them questions. There's all kinds of funny things. This is some of these channels that I faithfully subscribe to. They really do entertain. Better than Gutfelds. I like when people can make me laugh or entertain me, and it doesn't have to be compromised by any politics. Left, right, up, down, red, blue, green, polka dot. I don't give a shit. The days of presidents sleeping with interns with cigars, the days of women sitting on the laps of presidential candidates, the days of just bizarre people, like or things involving Cuban children who have to be sent back to Cuba, okay? And the president has to send the attorney general in there to go get the kid, okay? Remember those days? Those days are fucking gone. Bill Clinton's an old fart. And don't forget my personal favorite, Collie UK, who has less subs than me, but he's entertaining. If you go through his inept reviews, more fun than Jimmy Kimmel.
Fucking start, you piece of fucking shit! Oh, fuck off! Fucking dog!
20 out of 10 million.
10 out of 20, 10 million.
And with that, dear friends, that is the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, look at that. We got this done in under 20. How about that? All right, let's give a round of applause. You're all fired. Thanks. Now I shall take my exit, as I normally do. Just slide right on out. Dun, 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 dun.